of times artists presume that their target fan base is either the person they're attracted to or them.
Themselves. Yeah, exactly.
It's the two different things. It's either the person you want or the person you believe you are. And a lot of artists, that's not the case. It's going to be someone you had never anticipated, who's not a lot like you, maybe. And they might have different musical tastes than you even. And you know, if you
Sure.
really want to be in business, if you want to be an artist to just impress people who are very like you, then I think, you know, you can go and try to do that. You're probably going to have to change around your sound and be subject to a lot of scrutiny and not really have a lot of financial success. If you're more in it to be able to create art how you want to and have it supported by people who love it, then you got to drop that distinction of like, this can only be for people who like all the specific bands I like and don't like any of the ones I don't like, you know?
Well, then you're kind of that's what happens to tribute bands. And if you're not a tribute band, but you act like that, you will probably make music that's very, very similar to your favorite band.
Yeah.
And will maybe not be even indistinguishable, you know, in a bad way, not in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. I find that artists more often shoot themselves in the foot by assuming what their right audience is instead of letting the data tell them that. Now, a lot of artists don't even know what the data telling them that means or what it would look like. So I understand that. But, you know, people will go to run ads for their music and they'll like get really rigid about who they're targeting. And we used to do that because it worked for a long time, but it works a lot less now. And more often than not, I found people would be very strict about what age was allowed to listen to their music, what their interest could be, what gender they could be. So people would get upset that like for instance, like if you had a all male band, they would be upset that like 90% of their audience is male. It's like, what did you expect? You know, you're all guys. Did you think that like women would be fawning over you or something like that?
Well, it's a given if you play guitar. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it's just funny because yeah, people will shoot themselves in the foot by having instead of wanting to have an audience, they want to have a certain composition of audience. And that's like a weird goal to have. Like, your goal should be...
people tend to assume a lot.
Yeah.
Because any reason, actually, or no reason.
Yeah.
Like in the academic circles, if you want to prove, if you have a hunch, you have to say it, and you have to have a way to prove it that you are right, that your hunch is right, or you have to have the, like, I'd say courage, but the balls to say, okay, I studied what I thought was right. Turns out it isn't.
Yeah, the actual goal.
I can take that, and I can go on and make another assumption and try that and try that and try that.
Yeah, people approach the scientific method and think that their goal is to prove their hypothesis right, but it was originally designed that you go and try to prove your hypothesis wrong. You're supposed to find all of the problems with what you thought, not, you know, find reasons to believe it's true. And so, yeah, I think that's a problem that people make when they go to find their audience. And to get more specific, I just mean that very early on, the more you presume to know who your audience needs to be, the more trouble you're going to have. Because, for instance, if you're running ads and you demand that your audience is 13 to 17 years old, young people, and your ads end up costing a whole lot or don't get a lot of results, like, it's your fault. You know, you limited the age range, and it might not be them who gravitate towards it. And so it's best not to make those kinds of presumptions early on, and instead cast a wider net and pay really close attention to who responds. And then you can narrow down your messaging, narrow down your targeting, and say, this is who this is for.
Kad si već u zaletu, preporučam ti da ovaj video pogledaš sljedeće i vidimo se tamo.